Now we continue with the book by Jung Lee, Patterns of Inner Process, from the writings of the I Ching and Preston Harold as it relates to Jesus. Notice the first thing that you read in the title, patterns, number one. That means there is some kind of pattern, not just random, but it is a pattern. And notice inner process. That's key also. Pattern of inner process. So the inner process is the pattern. It's the center. The outer process is the manifestation or the showing of the inner process. But the inner process comes first. The outer process comes next, if you want to put it that way. You will find in the chapter index in here how that is so. For example, if we come to that section, here are the chapter headings. First, of course, there's an introduction, then chapter 2, the I Ching and its basic philosophy of inner process. Chapter 3, the I Ching and Herald. Chapter 4, the quote, I, unquote, as the symbol of inner process. Chapter 5, Jesus, the archetypal man. Chapter 6, the inner cross. Chapter 7, the inner kingdom. Chapter 8, the inner process of matter and spirit. Chapter 9, the inner mind. Chapter 10, patterns of changing process. Chapter 11, the inner time. Chapter 12, the secret of reincarnation. Chapter 13, the secret of communication. Chapter 14, the secret of empathy. Chapter 15, the unconscious morality. And chapter 16, man is woman, woman is man. And the last chapter, conclusion, along with an index. So you see how much of this has to do with the inner as opposed to the outer, and so forth. So the inner kingdom, for example, you find out much about the inner kingdom and Jesus and what he means by the inner kingdom and what Jesus is talking about. Also, you will find here much to do with the writings of Carl Gustav Jung in relation to the unconscious as the inner kingdom and synchronicity. You will find much of that here, and you will find out what the Bible says also about these certain sections, and you will also find much about Buddhism included in here, which you would not expect. So you will find in this book many things that are Eastern and Western, because, of course, Jung Lee is a great knowledgeable person of the East. So you will find here things that parallel each other in amazing ways when you relate to what's the inner and the outer. How does Jesus relate to the I Ching, for example? And how does he relate to the writings of Preston Harold? Now, Jung Lee, of course, wrote many books. And Preston Harold wrote many books. And what Winifred Babcock does, first of all, those books by Preston Harold are published. But what Winifred Babcock also does is to synchronize them into other books so that people can understand Preston Harold a little better than just what's in his books, which are difficult to understand altogether. We will continue with this shortly.